A leader's job is to carry the emotional burden of the company, of the business, and of the family. It's the emotional load. It never leaves you. Leaders get fatigued. And if you don't have a really huge purpose, eventually it just gets heavy.
The crime is not that the passion has run out. It's that you stayed around after it did. Don't let it run out. I would say find your why. Find a new mission, a new vision. Find a mission that wakes you up every day and excites you. And it's usually not gonna be about you. It's usually gonna be about an impact that you can make, a legacy you can leave. And that ultimately is what will drive us in the long run. It's not discipline that actually drives us, it's devotion. But will your goals take you to where you wanna go? No, your commitments will. We don't get burned out because of what we do, we get burned out because we forget why we did it. So why is essential, vision is essential.
How do you stay positive? That's easy in the good times.
Now here's what I know, being positive won't guarantee you'll succeed, but being negative will guarantee you won't. And so often what we believe determines what we create. So every team's gonna get tested. How do we respond to the test? That's key. Every family will be tested. Every marriage will be tested. I think too many people give up when they face the challenge. No, we're not supposed to give because it's hard. We're supposed to stay focused and positive and stay encouraged to overcome the discouragement that makes us give up. And here's the thing about getting better. We're not always gonna be at 100%. We're always dealing with something, but we can always give 100% of what we have. Great teams love each other. And because you love each other, you're gonna serve and sacrifice for each other. Commitment's gonna cost you something. You have to ask yourself, what am I willing to give? And also, what am I willing to give up? And the great thing about love is also it casts out fear. How do you overcome fear? It is through love.
So hey guys, listen, we're all trying to get more productive. And the question is, how do you find a way to get an edge? I'm a big believer that if you're getting mentoring or you're in an environment that causes growth, a growth-based environment, that you're much more likely to grow and you're gonna grow faster. And that's why I love Growth Day. Growth Day is an app that my friend Brendan Burchard has created that I'm a big fan of. Write this down, growthday.com/ed. So if you want to be more productive, by the way, he's asked me, I post videos in there every single Monday that get your day off to the right start. He's got about $5,000, $10,000 worth of courses that are in there that come with the app. Also, some of the top influencers in the world are all posting content in there on a regular basis, like having the Avengers of personal development and business in one app. And I'm honored that he asked me to be a part of it as well and contribute on a weekly basis, and I do. So go over there and get signed up. You're gonna get a free, tuition-free voucher to go to an event with Brendan and myself and a bunch of other influencers as well. So you get a free event out of it also. So go to growthday.com/ed. That's growthday.com/ed.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. So today is, one of my favorite days of the year because I get to spend this time with all of you and with one of my best friends in the world. He's the author of 30 prolific books. And I just got to tell you, everywhere I go, people ask me, do you know Jon Gordon? Everywhere I go. And the reason is because his influence reaches all over the place. I mean, he's about to do an event with some of the top NFL coaches, Major League Baseball coaches, college football coaches, TV and radio. He is a leader to leaders, is how I would word it. And he's just an incredibly good man. He's somebody that I look up to, somebody that I take advice from. You need to enjoy this conversation because there's a 50-50 chance he's going to turn pro in pickleball here soon and not author any more books. But before he does that, he's authored another book that I read many months ago that I'm excited to share with all of you and his thoughts about it, called The 7 Commitments of a Great Team. Jon Gordon, welcome back to the show.
Ed Mylett, you are not just the interviewer today, you're my great friend as well. I love you, brother.
I love you.
And I got to tell you, everywhere I go, people say, you actually know Ed Mylett? Are you kidding me? But I just want to honor you for a second. I know you weren't expecting this, but not only are you one of the top 3 speakers in the world, we always joke about that, yes. World class, but as an interviewer, the best
Thank you.
In the world.
Thank
How many
you.
people could say they speak and also interview? I was thinking about you as I was coming over. The best interviews I've ever had are with you.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone I talk to experiences the same thing.
Thank you.
There's a energy you give. There's a way you ask questions. It's like the natural. You are so great at this. And I just want to acknowledge you.
I love you, brother. By the way, he teased me about being top 3, but he really thinks I'm number 1.
Exactly.
So you know. He knows how sensitive I am to that topic. So I want to really get into this. Now, by the way, I want you to all lean in here today. You all are building a team. So today we're going to look at it from business mainly and sports, but also you're building a family. And so all of that to me is a form of a team. That's what we do as human beings. And so there's so many things in the book. Jon's work is unique. And I want to start with something that stood out to me because, you know, this notion of commitments as opposed to goals. Why does that matter? Why is commitment greater than goals?
Yeah. Everyone has goals. They have a vision for the year. And you and I are big on visions and having dreams and even having goals. They're important. But will your goals take you to where you want to go? No. Your commitments will. When you are committed to your goals and you take action and you commit day in and day out, you actually will realize your goals. If you have goals without commitments, that's a vision without execution, right? You have to take action to realize it. So if you want to be great, you have to be committed to what you're doing. If you want to be a great team, you have to have commitments as a team in order to be great. I asked the team the other day, I was with a professional baseball team, and I said, how many of you have your goals written down? And most of the guys had their goals written down. I said, how many of you have your commitments written down?
Yeah.
No one had their commitments written down. And then we wrote down their commitments. It's a different conversation.
Yeah.
My commitment is to recovery. My commitment is to eating healthy during the course of the season so I stay healthy.
Okay.
My commitment is to actually showing up and preparing more or watching film in order to get better. So there's a commitment that then leads you to being your best.
So is the commitment, I want to dig deeper on that. So, because I'm going to steal it from you. So if I have a goal, you're saying the commitment delivers on that goal. Help us break it down like in our own life. Like if someone's building a company right now and the goal is, you know, we're going to reach $1 million in sales this year and you're going to make $100,000 a year. Help us work through what would the commitment part, if you were working with that company, how would you help them delineate and distinguish what the commitment part is?
I would identify what our goals are. So first I would say, actually, what's our vision?
Okay.
What do we want to be? Then I would talk about the why. Why do we want to do that? What is our purpose? We don't get burned out because of what we do. We get burned out because we forget why we do it. So why is essential. Vision is essential. And then, okay, what is our goals? What numbers do we want to achieve? What kind of outcomes do we want? So now we have these goals. We have these outcomes. Okay, what are our commitments? Sales. How many calls are we going to make every single day? Customer service. How will we show up for our customers? How will we serve them, make them feel special? How we can be committed to each other in the course of that year in terms of working together and honoring each other and being there for each other and sacrificing for each other, supporting each other. How will we do that as a team? So every team has to make these commitments to realize these goals. But you got these numbers, and then each department will have the commitments to achieve those numbers.
It's really interesting. Those of you that are listening, by the way, the great thing about Jon, when he comes on and he has a book, he'll just tell you the book, because he knows you're going to go read it anyway. A lot of authors are like, I'll give you a little piece. You know, and the reason the interviews are so good with you is because you're so forthcoming with the information. And you and I were talking before you got here today that I'm on this sort of kick to get my physical body back in shape. So I've got a dramatic weight loss goal that I've got. Really wanted to get down to my college weight. And so I've got that goal. But to your point, it's my day-to-day commitments about when I'm eating, what I'm eating, when I do my cardio, when I do my stretching and lifting. It's the commitments that I'm sort of obsessed with. Now that I think about it, it's kind of been my formula for achievement. I'm like a commitment freak when it comes to getting things done.
You really are. Like, you are next level in your commitments. And you inspired me to work out. Like every day I work out now. Every day I'm walking, I'm exercising, I'm eating right. Those commitments on a daily basis actually lead to the results that you have and want. At 54, I feel better than ever.
You look great. Yeah.
You look great too. Yeah. But I would not be looking great if I didn't meet you.
Thank you.
And I did not get committed to my health, to my weight. So I think commitments and weight and health are probably the best examples of seeing it in action, because everyone could say, okay, I have this goal of losing weight or this goal of getting fit. And then I know my commitments to eating healthy will get me there. If I eat that chocolate cake every day, that's not being committed.
Right, exactly. By the way, I know it sounds like we compliment each other a lot, you guys, is because we really have a mutual affection. But like in my case, my faith is what's grown, which is far more important than what I've helped you with your physical part. My walk with Jesus has really improved and grown, and I attribute a lot of that to knowing you. And one of the reasons is I see how committed you are to certain things, like your faith walks and being in scripture and things like that. So these are day-to-day commitments I've now made that have really changed those things. And it's modeling you.
Can we talk about prayer for a second?
Please, I'd love to.
Because what you just said is so profound and so important, because I have recently been more committed to prayer. So every morning I'm now walking and I am praying. I'm trying to get couples to pray together, because if you pray together, 99% stay together. Research is clear on this. So couples who pray together are more likely to stay together and have a better marriage. So if you can commit to prayer in your relationship, in your marriage, you will elevate your relationship. If you can commit to prayer in your own life, you'll actually find more healing, more peace, and more power. So I take these walks of prayer now every single day. I go through that prayer acronym of praise, repent, ask, yield, expect, receive. By the time I'm done, I feel better. If I don't commit to that action on a daily basis, I do not have the feeling, the outcome, and the healing and the power that I'm now living with as a result of that.
Oh boy. All right, we're going to go personal on you now. Since we're in this lane, let's go a little layer deeper. You probably wonder, how does a guy who used to own bars end up writing 30 books and sell millions of books? And I would say it particularly in the sports space, but even beyond that, leadership, faith, like is known as the guy in that space, right? How does that happen? This guy used to own bars, everybody, okay? Exactly. Right? This is not, and he wasn't, by the way, a Christian many, many years ago.
No, was not.
What are the commitments and practices? So this is a really cool part. I know how it happens. Tell them how this book came to you. How does a guy, you ever think about that? Like, how do I do it again? If you ever given a speech, you've made a post on, where's the next one going to come from? Tell them where basically these books come from. But since we're talking about the 7 commitments of a great team, tell them how this book came to you and how you wrote it, because I think this is very telling commitment-wise and habit-wise.
Well, I'm 54 years old now. I feel like I've been writing this book my entire life because I've been on teams my entire life. Going back to college, being a lacrosse player, and wanting to be a great lacrosse player. Had to be committed to getting better, committed to pursuing excellence, committed to practicing and elevating my game, my mindset, all of that. But I did not have a great mindset back then. That's the funny thing. My teammates cannot believe what I'm doing now.
You're the positive guy.
They're like, You're the positive guy? You were a mental wreck in college. I remember you going, no, why is this happening? Why am I injured again? Like I was a mental wreck. I really was. But I had this great coach, Coach Moran. And Richie Moran was the best. He believed in me. He recruited me. He brought me to Cornell and he gave me a shot. And I'll never forget him for that. And I'll never forget him believing in me and the way he loved me. And beyond college, like after graduating, was still involved in my life. He wasn't just my coach for 4 years. He was my coach for the rest of my life. And so about a month before he passed away, I gave him a call and we were talking. And he said, remember, Jon, teammates are forever. Teammates are forever. And I couldn't get that out of my head.
It's in the book.
Yeah, it was for a couple of years. That's the beginning of the book. And I knew I wanted to write about a coach that impacted a player, but also a team that impacted each other, a team that was committed together because of their coach and because of each other. And this book is a embodiment of all the principles, all the ideas, all the lessons I learned as an athlete, but also all the work I've done with teams along the way. So, Ed, I walk every day, and while I'm walking, I pray. And all my books have come to me during that time. And this book came to me on a walk. I'm walking, I'm praying, and boom, I got 7 commitments of a great team. I didn't have all the commitments, but I knew that was the title. And then I started to think about what those commitments were, what truly makes a great team. And I began writing them down. It's got to be about staying positive. That's one, definitely. A great team stays positive together. You have to commit to the vision and mission. I knew that was one. And so as I was writing these down and walking, more and more of the story came to me, the ideas came to me. I wrote this book, Ed, in 16 days. Gosh. Now, people often think, well, 16 days, it can't be a good book. My son said I shouldn't tell people it was 16 days.
It's incredible.
But I actually think it was so magical in writing this because I was walking and praying.
It was a divine download.
It was. Yeah. It just flowed like no other. It's never taken me that short of a time to write a book, but 16 days, I had this book. And when I read it, I literally cried as I read the audiobook of it because it's so special, so impactful, so meaningful in terms of the story, what happens. People will read it, they're going to be inspired. Yeah. They're going to be encouraged. They may cry a little bit, but they're also going to realize, wow, I could be a more committed team member and I can get my team committed. Can't wait for people to read it.
Me too. And by the way, you guys, Jon's writing style is unique just to him. It's why it's so easy to read and takes you on this journey. And I remember the day, I don't know if you know this, but the day you took the walk, that night you called me or texted me and said, I just got my book.
Yeah.
And I just want you all to know that's where the strategy comes from. So we're talking about prayer. We're talking about having rituals. We're talking about his is that what basically is a prayer walk Imagine that, get a download like that in your life. What if it was your next business idea, your next concept, your next thought, your next strategy? So that was awesome, brother.
And I got the next two others from a prayer walk. And I want to thank you also for reading it. You were one of the first to read this book and gave me feedback. Really meant the world to me.
Thank you, brother. You guys all hear that? Like, that's a long road, by the way, but I want you to understand it for this reason. Like, first off, if he'd have froze when he was bartending, and I said, hey, you'll be one of the most prolific authors in the world 20 years from now. Yeah. Everyone would have laughed at you, right? Laughed and thought it was crazy. And then also, many of you have a dream. You're going to have to stabilize your life to some extent before you jump in and pursue that dream. Most people aren't willing to do the grind work to get to the good stuff. They want to be planted in the dream immediately, not do the stuff that's required of you to get into a position. When I started my business, I'll just tell you all this. When I started my business, it didn't go well in the very beginning, and I had to go stock shelves at night. At Safeway, I'd stock shelves all night long, get a couple hours of sleep, put my suit back on, and go do business all day long until I could find a way. But what I wasn't going to do was quit on my dream altogether. If you really want it bad, your obsessions become your possessions, and you'll eventually possess them. All right, let's get back to the book a little bit. I want to get back to the book. So the second commitment in the book, he has these 7 commitments, right? I'm going to give you a few of them today. One of them is staying positive. And I was like, oh, Jon Gordon, the positive guy. That's pretty basic stuff. But in the real world, okay, once pressure hits, once failure hits, once setbacks hit, it's very easy in a company, in a family, like you and Catherine during that difficult time, start pointing fingers. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's you. Well, if you would just do this, then I could do that. And that happens in a locker room as well, right? Like a guy drops a fly ball, very easy to get negative. Someone misses their assignment, doesn't practice, doesn't show up. In business, same thing. Like, when a problem comes, the normal CEO, the average one, who's to blame rather than solving the problem? How do you stay positive? That's easy in the good times. That commitment, how does someone stay committed? And I guess if it's a commitment, it's different than we should, when the sheesh hits the fan.
It's important to know that the collective belief and optimism of a team is made up of each person's belief and optimism. So each person says, I'm going to stay positive for myself and for my team. I'm going to feed myself in order to feed others on my team. And then collectively, we make a decision. We make a commitment. This is why this is in the book. A commitment that we will stay positive through challenges, through adversity, through setbacks. Everyone's positive during training camp because you're undefeated. Everyone's positive in the beginning of the year usually because you're just getting started. But as we move on and we face adversity, as you said, we face setbacks, we face challenges. How do we respond to the adversity? Do we stay positive through it? Now, here's what I know. Being positive won't guarantee you'll succeed, but being negative will guarantee you won't. And so often what we believe determines what we create. I went up to speak to the Commanders before the playoff series against the playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. And I went up there and I talked about the power of belief, brotherhood, and be you. And I said, listen, guys, you believe, and that's where you are right now because of your belief. You're here because of your belief. But every team must rise higher in the belief. As we reach new levels, we get new devils, new challenges. So your belief must rise higher individually and collectively. And that belief of a team, that staying positive through adversity, will define the kind of success you have. So every team's going to get tested. How do we respond to the test? That's key. Every family will be tested. Every marriage will be tested. I think too many people give up when they face the challenge. Too many give up when they face that setback. And because it's hard, they give up. No, we're not supposed to give because it's hard. We're supposed to stay focused and positive and stay encouraged to overcome the discouragement that makes us give up.
The positive thing, I want to stay on it for a sec. Why I think this matters. Let's set sports aside. Let's just do like personal relationship for a second. Okay, you're building a family. That's hard. When you're really in that disagreement phase, to stay positive, you and I both struggle with that. You know that it's not easy for either one of us.
So, hey guys, I want to jump in here for a second and talk about change and growth. And by the way, it's no secret how people get ahead in life or how they grow. And also taking a look at the future. If you want to change your future, you got to change the things you're doing. If you continue to do the same things, you're probably going to produce the same results. But if you get into a new environment where you're learning new things and you're around other people that are growth oriented, you're much more likely to do that yourself. And that's why I love Growth Day. Write this down for a second. growthday.com/ed. My friend Brendan Bouchard has created the most incredible personal development and business app that I've ever seen in my life. Everything from goal setting software to personal accountability, journaling, courses, thousands of dollars worth of courses in there as well. I create content in there on Mondays where I contribute, as do a whole bunch of other influencers, like the Avengers of influencers and business minds in there. It's the Netflix for high achievers or people that want to be high achievers. So go check it out. My friend Brennan's made it very affordable, very easy to get involved. Go to growthday.com/ed. That's growthday.com/ed. Hey, it's Ed Mylett. Let me share something powerful with you. You know, in uncertain times, the smartest people I know protect what they've built. That includes my father-in-law, by the way, who'd been buying gold for a number of years up until his passing, and it paid off for him every single time that he did it. And I'm licensed, so I can't tell you where to put your money, and I would never do that. But I can tell you this. He bought it because gold is timeless, and that's why most of the smart people I know have bought gold. It's real. It doesn't vanish when the market takes a hit. And right now, many smart people I know are investing their money in gold and silver as part of their retirement plan and their future planning. That's why Advantage Gold is a part of our program now. And what I love about what they're doing is they're giving away a free gold and silver investor kit that walks you through exactly how to get started. Text WIN to 85545 to get your free kit. That's WIN to 85545. Don't wait for the next crash. Be the one who's ready. Protect, prepare, and prosper. Message and data rates may apply. Performance varies. Always consult your financial and tax professional.
But one of the reasons that it's so important, and I want you to talk about this, it's not in the book, I want us to talk about it, is the damage done when you're not that can become irreversible. So if you're building a company, for example, and it's gone bad, and the leader, because I've done it, doesn't stay positive and attacks, accuses, blames. And if you're not careful, you can say something in those moments, in the difficult, dark times in your company or in your marriage or to your children, that is unforgettable. And although your relationship may get better, it'll never be the same one it was before you said those things in the negative. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, big time.
And so let's just unpack that a little bit. I want your thoughts on that, because stay positive.
Right.
The ramifications of not at least attempting to trend in that direction can ruin a long-term business relationship. They can alter the direction and the destiny of a personal relationship as well, my opinion, if you don't at least have a commitment that we're going to try to stay positive and stay out of the negative.
Yeah. As a relationship, as a family, as a business, I do a lot of work in positive leadership. My mission is to develop positive leaders who make a positive impact in every business, school, team, organization, and community. Now, people think positive leadership is about hunky-dory and being kind all the time and generous. No. Positive leaders are demanding. They're just not demeaning. And there'll be moments when we need to be demanding, but we can't be demeaning. There'll be moments when we are frustrated, but we can't allow our frustration to cause us to say things that we wish we didn't say. So often we do it because we're activating the reptilian part of our brain. And if you know anything about a reptile, it will never love you. It's all about survival. Well, when you're in survival mode and you're activating the reptile, it actually hijacks the rational part of the brain. It's called cortical inhibition. So it hijacks it, and you say things you wish you didn't say. You act in ways you normally wouldn't act. And so it's actually the reptile, but it only works once as an excuse. Like, my reptile ate this positive dog part of the brain is what I call it. And it only works once as an excuse. And the key is to know that, okay, just really be intentional. Know that you have a quarter second at every moment, a quarter second to override the reptile with what I call the positive dog, the loving, rational, kind part of your brain. And you have that quarter second. So we have to just slow down, take a deep breath, and be intentional. And there have been moments when I've wanted to say something and I didn't. Maybe a better leader in that moment. There have been times when I said things I wish I didn't say. And you can't take it back, as you said. You can only apologize afterwards. And as a leader, there are moments that you do need to ask for forgiveness and apologize. There have been moments with my kids where I said, you know what? I said that. I'm sorry. It was in the heat of the moment. I wish I didn't say that. Can you forgive me? And you're right. They'll never forget you saying that. And there are moments I'll be driving or walking and thinking, God, why did I say that? God, I wish I didn't do that back then. God, I wish I was a better person then like I am now. But we also have to give ourselves grace.
Some grace.
And know that it's not who we were, it's who we're becoming. And along the way, no one is perfect. We all have flaws. And I think if the kids that you have see your flaws, but they know you're working and getting better, that allows them to see that they're not perfect too, and they can get better as well.
By the way, which is commitment 4 in the book, committing to get better.
Right.
I gave a a talk a couple of weeks. No, I was actually getting interviewed a few weeks ago. The guy's like, well, you're just a leadership guru and you've built these businesses and podcasts and stuff. And I said, I'm going to be really honest with you. And it was just, I'm the older I get, the more I'm just brutally honest in front of groups too. And I said, I've become pretty convinced I'm not that great of a leader. And the older I get, the more I realize what I don't know. Maybe just a skosh of humility sets into my life. The more I wasn't a great leader. I was a inspirational leader, but I wasn't a great leader. I could have treated people better. I could have been more patient. I could have been more tactical. I could have spent more time. There's just so many things. And I'm not a great leader, but I do want to get better. Yeah. And I'm committed to getting better. And I've been committed to getting better for quite some time. And so when you first gave me the copy of the book, which was many, many months ago, and I'm like, commitment to getting better. Man, I don't know which one's the most important commitment, but for me, if we can have a commitment in our family or in our company, right, or in our team, I'm going to get better. I'm always trying to get better. And I know that's your intent. To me, that opens up a lot of room for grace and a lot of room for growth. So I just want you to talk about that.
I say it all the time. I am not the best leader either. Mm-hmm. It's ironic. I'm the best at helping leaders become better. Like that's what I'm great at, helping a leader build their team. I believe I've worked with more leaders and helped them build more teams than just about anybody on the planet. So I'm great at that. Yep. But I am not a great leader. And I say it all the time, which is ironic to me. I'm not a great leader. I watch these leaders. I work with these leaders and I go, man, they are great. You spend time with Dabo Sweeney, he is a great leader.
I was just saying that to Zach Johnson a couple of weeks ago. I ran into him. I go, let's talk about Dabo. I don't know if there's a better leader anywhere.
Spend time with Sean McVay. Great leader. So Corey Close, great leader. Alan Mullally, who turned around Ford and Boeing, spend time with him. Great leader. I'm not that kind of leader, but the goal, as you said, is to always get better. And my team the other day actually said to me, John, we know you're working at it. We can tell. Because you write about positive leadership. This is your mission. And we know you struggle. But we can tell you are really working at it and actually putting your own principles into practice. I had to do it during COVID. I lost 100% of my business during COVID in 3 days. 3 days. That was a tough time. Let's talk about commitment, putting this into practice. And I'm walking around the house going, every text was coming in, canceling one more event after another. I was like, darn it. Next day, I'm like, damn. Next day, I'm like, shit. Next day, fuck. I don't know if you can say that on a podcast, but the positive guy said that. Yeah, the positive guy. Oh, yeah. And my wife goes, it's going to be okay, John. I said, no, it's not.
It's not.
No, John, it's going to be okay. I go, no, we're done. Like, we're losing everything. She goes, aren't you the guy that writes these positive books? Don't you tell everyone how to stay positive? I'm like, yeah. She goes, you need to follow your own advice. I made a decision in that moment, a commitment that I was going to stay positive and get better during that time, during COVID. It was a defining moment in my life to get better and to stay positive during that time. Got my team to do the same. And we started putting out a lot of positive messages to the world. Talked to a guy the other day, a new client. He said we had 500 people during that time. They were reeling. They were in deep trouble. They started listening to my messages that I was putting out there because I made that commitment. He said, John, it was huge for us. We stayed positive. We now have 3,500 employees, thriving, doing better than ever. The commitment to staying positive and get better. So to getting better, we all have something we need to improve upon. And here's the thing about getting better. Like, we're not always going to be at 100%. I know that you're not at 100% right now. I'm at 100%. We're always dealing with something, but we can always give 100% of what we have. So even if you're at 70%,
give 100% of the
give 100% of what you have in that moment, that day.
It's very good.
Give your best in order to get better. And then every day as a team, ask, what are we doing well? What can we do better? And what are we learning that will make us better? If we ask those three questions every single day as a team, individually and collectively, we will get better as a team. You just got to ask those questions. And then as a team, you have to challenge each other. There are times when you have to call your friend up and say, hey, I don't see you being your best. I don't see you getting better. Here's what I noticed. Here's what I believe you can do. And you encourage, but also challenge your teammates, your friends, and others in order to get better. We need people who are going to speak truth in our lives to get better. And great teammates, great teammates speak truth to each other in love in order to help each other get better.
It's like you're almost reading where my mind wants to go. I want to talk about love.
Yeah.
it's interesting that you walk into these very masculine locker rooms with a message about love,
Yeah.
right? And so it was literally probably at the core of what I wanted to get to today, and you just said it. So there's 7 commitments of a great team, guys. But this concept overall, his philosophy involving love. So if I say the term love to you, you would say what as it comes to building teams and elevating performance?
Great teams love each other. And because you love each other, you're going to serve and sacrifice for each other. Love is about being sacrificial. That's real love.
Sacrificial.
It's going to cost you something. Commitment's going to cost you something. You're going to have to give your time, your energy, your effort, a piece of you, something maybe you want that the team actually needs. And maybe the need of the team is more important than what you want. So you're going to have to sacrifice time, energy, effort, money, something for your team and for others. So there's going to be a sacrifice. And when you love your team and you love the people that you're living with, love your family, and you love who you're working with, you're going to give to them. So every day when you're committing to your team, you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to give? And also, what am I willing to give up? Because sometimes you may have to give up something for your team. It might be your ego. It might be playing time. It might be a higher salary, as Tom Brady did to lower his salary for his team.
Yep.
It might be a position in a company. You want that promotion, but right now your team needs you to be in this role. And so you have to stay in that role. Whatever it may be, there's going to be a sacrifice to be a great team member and to be a great team. So I think love is sacrifice. I also hear it all the time. Every time a team wins a championship, what do they say? We loved each other.
Yeah.
We cared about each other. It's always about relationship. And when you know that there's love, there's also trust. And then there's commitment. And because there's commitment, you're willing to fight for each other. You're willing to go to battle together. You will sacrifice for each other. So a big part of this book is committing to each other. Yeah, you commit to the vision and mission. Yes, you can commit to staying positive, but committing to each other. Like you and I, Ed, are going to battle. Like I know this. Like I would commit to you in a heartbeat, and I would fight for you. And the friend you've been for me, I will die for you.
Likewise.
I would. I know that. I know that about you too. Yeah. That is, to me, that's real commitment. That's real friendship. That's a real bond. That's real trust. And that leads to real high performance and real success. So you show me a team that loves each other. I'll show you a team that's stronger and willing to go into the battle. So it's not soft. Like I always tell teams, love the battle.
Yeah.
Love competing against your competition. Love the moment and commit to the person in front of you.
Yeah.
Commit to your team. Commit to the moment that you're in that moment. If you do that, right, you'll rise higher. You'll help your team rise higher. So it's all about the love we bring. And the great thing about love is also it casts out fear. So the minute you focus on love, fear dissipates. So if fear is your enemy, which it is, and fear is holding you back, how do you counter fear? How do you overcome fear? It is through love. So the more we focus on love, fear has no power over you.
Gosh, you know how right he is, you guys. By the way, just think about that in your business right now or the team you're building. Do they really deeply know how much you love them? And do you have commitments like this? Like, don't just casually, you're driving in your car, you're on the treadmill, you're on your walk. It's good information. Process it through your own life. We go to a new dentist here in town. When you walk into this place, in fact, most of the ladies that are in that office actually came and saw me speak, which, probably helped me be number 3 in the world, according to you. And
top 3.
Top three.
I'm not saying you're not number 1. It's top 3.
But every time I go in this place, this is so strange to say about a dentist place. You ever walk in a business and you just feel love?
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is. It could be a sandwich shop, a pizza place. It could be a dry cleaners. It's my dentist. These women love each other. I'm sure it's set by the tone of the leader, the way they care for one another. They're all very different too. I can tell their backgrounds are different. I actually like going to the dentist.
Which is rare.
It's rare. And there's a loving environment. They treat you loving. They treat one another loving. It's just, do you have that? You go, well, it doesn't really fit. I'm in the day trading business. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It does. And if you don't have that, you're missing one of the commitments of a great team. You're missing an element that could cause you to go to the next level. This is not casual.
Today's show is sponsored by Strawberry.me. So you know this. I'm a big believer in coaching, especially when it's from a reliable source. And I think most people should have some interaction with somebody who's helping them get better in their life. So if you're waking up every day and you know you're capable of a little bit more, but you're not really sure how to get there. Listen, success doesn't just happen. Most success people in the world don't figure it out on their own. They have a coach. They have mentors. They got coaches. They have people guiding them every step of the way. That's where strawberry.me personal coaching comes in. You'll identify your obstacles that are holding you back. You'll develop a step-by-step plan, take action and confidence. You can be held accountable if you want to. Knowing you have a dedicated support staff, a coach behind you every step of the way. Instead of relying on guesswork or waiting for the right time, I've had a personal coach for a long time, and it's helped me tremendously in my life. You know, I love that Chinese proverb. If you want to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. That's what a coach can do for you. They've got the directions many times in your life. Go to strawberry.me/ed and claim your $50 credit. That's strawberry.me/ed. Here's the deal with the news. I just don't think you know what's true. If you really listen to one sort of a channel and you lean a particular way, they're going to feed you all the things that you already believe, right? If you go to the other channel, everybody's the bad guy there, and you're going to hear all the news there. Everything has spin today. It's really difficult. I'll listen to a story, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're completely doing this. Then you hear the backstory on another channel, you're like, wait a minute, that's totally not true. Everywhere we look, there's spin in the news. It's unbelievable. So if you want to be more aware of where your news is coming from, welcome to Ground News. It helps cut through all the spin and clutter and noise. Ground News gathers related articles from around the world in one place with context about the source's political leaning, reliability, and ownership. Go to groundnews.com/Mylett today to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan and get access to all of their news analysis features. That's groundnews.com for 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan for a limited time only. groundnews.com/Mylett.
Okay, is it Nito Cobain? What's his name?
Nito Cobain.
Okay. He's a leader that I know that you admire, John Maxwell. And he's actually, I had him come speak to our firm before many, many years ago. So I want to ask you a question. You've mentioned him to me as someone that you really admire as a leader. You've mentioned Dabo Swinney, who is the football coach at Clemson, everybody, if you're not a sports fan. And he's mentioned Sean McVay. He's mentioned coaches that a lot of you wouldn't know by name. Okay. Sean McVay is the coach of the Rams. I happen to have met all of these people as well. For you, what's the through line just take those three. What's the through line so that if I say that to you, go, great leader, what are you thinking? You know what Dabo has that Sean also has that Nito has? What is the through line? I can tell you what it is for me after you answer.
Really?
Yes. And it'll be different than yours.
It's who they are. It's their character. It's their integrity. It's their essence. There's an essence about them, and they all believe bigger. They all have a massive vision of what they want to accomplish. They also have a confidence in this vision and mission. I mean, Nito Cobain turned around High Point from a little podunk university to a national powerhouse and well-respected university. There's not many people in the world that could actually do that. Pretty incredible. Dabo Swinney turned Clemson, which is a good team, but they weren't huge at the time, into a national powerhouse. No one expected that he could do that, and he did that. Sean McVay comes in to the Rams and turns around the Rams.
True.
If I had to pick, though, like, it would be belief and optimism. Like, they all have this incredible belief and optimism. Obviously, that's my core message. It's ultimately what I strive to be. It's what I love talking about. I see that in them. There's a belief. There's a belief that we can transfer this belief to others. And when we transfer it to others, they accomplish more than they ever thought possible. And I always think we see in others what we want to see in ourselves, or what we actually know we can be or want to be. And for me, I love being an encourager. I love watching people accomplish more after working with them. I love seeing them rise higher. I know you do as well. So seeing people accomplish more. So I love leaders who believe in the vision, the dream, and also believe in others to accomplish it.
Character is at the root of all leadership, and you know the three of them better than I do. So really closely correlated, just a takeaway for everybody. All three of them have unbelievably infectious energy. There's an energy when you're around a great leader that you feel something that you don't when you're around an average one. There's an energy. When you're around Dabo, you feel something. Sean has a very similar energy, by the way, to Dabo's. It's high, I guess. It's positive. It's intense. Dabo's is slightly different. And even Nito, when he spoke, I mean, he was already he wasn't a young man when he spoke. I'm like, this guy's energy level, his enthusiasm it's contagious. Energy is contagious. And John's probably most famous book until this one, it's called The Energy Bus. And so I have to tell you that when you're a leader of a team, I think if there was an 8th or 9th commitment, it would be to high energy. It would be to making people feel something when they're around you and being intentional about this energy, feeling it. Like, you can't create great energy unless it's actually an outcome of yours. It's actually something you're focused on, is pouring energy into people. So that's one of the things I would take from them. It's one of the things, like when I think of friends of mine that I love, like you, like it's just great energy. Like I feel energy from you. I feel like loving and belief and wisdom. That's the energy I feel. You're always making people feel something. And most people are oblivious to that fact. They're more oblivious. They're more about, well, I made this speech or I said this. These are our 6 tactics. These are our core values. All that's great. What do you make people feel?
Going to speaking. People tell me all the time, when you speak, man, he just made me feel a certain way. I know when I speak, it's the energy that people feel, positive energy. May not even be the best speaker, may not even have said the best thing that day. And yet when you smile as a speaker, when you are contagious, when there's an essence, when people know you care about them and you're there to serve them and add value to them, they feel your energy. You just woke something up in me in a big way. And it really isn't the energy bus. I wrote about energy being contagious and enthusiasm. I wrote that book so long ago I forgot. But it is like essential. Like, yes, the energy you bring to your team. And I think that's why so many leaders in business and sports and nonprofits and healthcare have resonated with the energy bus, because they all know we need to bring energy to our organization, to our company, to our customers, to our community. And it's the energy you bring. You are energy.
Thank you.
I am energy, right? And every day, what kind of energy are we bringing?
It's when you see a leader in their prime compared to when they're past it. You look at videos of Steve Jobs in his prime, there was an energy, a vibration to the guy that was incredible. When you look at your favorite political figure as a president, in their prime, their best moments, they bring a particular energy that you feel. And I think it's one of these invisible things that's got to be a commitment that you make, to your point in the book.
But why do they lose it? That's, as you're saying that, Ed, I'm thinking like...
What you said earlier in the interview, they forget why.
Yeah, why do they lose it? Because John Maxwell, we know, at 77, still has the energy.
He hasn't lost it, because I don't think I think his calling is so high, it's got to do with the kingdom, that he's never forgotten why. You said this in the very beginning. It was one of the first sentences you said, is that when you forget why you started, and your purpose and your reason, and the longer you're a leader, you're carrying. Here's the thing, everybody. This may be one of the most important things you're ever going to hear. A leader's job is to carry the emotional burden of the company, of the business, and of the family. If you're the leader of your family, and what falls on you? The emotional load. It just does. And usually in a marriage, it falls on one of the two. Doesn't mean a marriage isn't 50-50, but the emotional load, you know exactly what I mean, falls on usually one of you. And I'm sure it's great and 50-50 and all that. If you're the leader of a company or a business or a team, it's the emotional burden. It's the emotional load. It never leaves you, right? If you're a leader of anything, that's the case. And so over time, you get leadership fatigue. If you don't have new whys and a real reason for why you do it. Because here's the truth in life, people hurt you. They let you down. They screw you. They lie to you. This is just a fact. That's the enemy trying to get you off of your mission. He's trying to get you doubting, discouraged, delusional, so you'll delay. Those are the D's. You have your D's, right? We've talked about this a million times. And all of this work sort of together is like leaders get fatigue. It's just the emotional burden. And if you don't have a really huge purpose, eventually it just gets heavy. And by the way, it's subtle. A leader doesn't go from like a level 10 unbelievable to a 2. They go from a 10, everyone listening knows exactly what I'm saying, to like an 8.2. Most people would never notice you're not the leader you used to be. It's invisible, but you know you just don't want it quite as bad as you did when you were younger, quite as bad as when you were broke, quite as bad as before you won the first championship. It's subtle. You don't go from 10 to 1. You go from 10 to 10.3 or 8.3. It's just subtle. But if you're not careful, 8.3 turns into 7.2. And 3 years later, you're to 6.1. And all of a sudden, you can't even remember that person that was the vibrational leader. And that's why we admire these people, I think.
And I think both of us are saying, which is a great conversation for us to talk about, and everyone here, how do we stay that way? How do we keep the fire alive?
What would you say?
The passion, the burning alive. Well, I would say what Drew Watkins said to me. The crime is not that the passion has run out. It's that you stayed around after it did. And I would say, guess what? Don't let it run out. I would say, find your why. Find a new mission, a new vision. Everyone needs 3 things. We need a mission, a team, and a scoreboard to keep us going. So what is your new mission? You retire, find a new mission. You lost an old mission, find a new mission. I don't care what it is. Find a mission that wakes you up every day and excites you. And it's usually not going to be about you. It's usually going to be about an impact that you can make, a legacy you can leave. And that ultimately is what will drive us in the long run. I wake up every day more fired up than ever. More now than ever, because I have this new mission and vision of developing positive leaders around the world. That's what's getting me going. I would say find your team. You got to find a team that's going to encourage you, support you, be there for you, that will hold you accountable, that will give you life. Because think about it, every day you're waking up, when you're working for a company, working for your own business even, and you got a mission and you got this team that you're working with, and you're going to battle every single day, and perhaps you sell the company. Now, you no longer have that team. Or perhaps you retired, no longer have the team. Or maybe you got fired, no longer have a team. You got to find a team right now that is your squad, that is your crew. You lift each other up. And then you got to have that scoreboard. What are we chasing? What progress do we want to make? You're speaking at all these incredible events now with a life search. I love that. And you're telling me, hey, we just impacted 800 souls. And just 500 souls the other day, 1,000 here. I'm blown away when I hear that. And that number means something to me, and it means something to you. There's a number, even at that level, even when we're talking about souls, we still want to know that we're having progress and impact. So have your scoreboard.
Amen.
And that progress that you're measuring along the way. And we're actually going to create our own scoreboard now of how many leaders have we developed? Love it. And we're starting that now, and hopefully the next 20, 30 years, we'll be able to measure that and see how many leaders we've developed.
I love that. There's a part of the book that that you talk about that I won't let the interview end because I just think it's a unique perspective. So a lot of people listen to like, my team's not disciplined. We're not disciplined. I can't get them disciplined. I can't get them doing what they need to be doing. And you have this correlation in the book between devotion and discipline. This, guys, like, just let this sink in right here. Let this settle in. This is real brilliance to me.
This is my favorite concept, I believe, because so many coaches out there, so many leaders are like, I want my team to be disciplined. And they're yelling at them, be disciplined. And as parents, we were yelling at our kids, be disciplined. But it's not discipline that actually drives us. It's devotion. When you're devoted to something and you truly love it, discipline is a whole lot easier. No one had to make Tom Brady work on his passing. He was devoted to his craft. And because he was devoted to it, that drove his discipline. So if you're trying to be disciplined without devotion, which many of us do, it's like we're swimming upstream, climbing uphill. It's really hard. It always feels like a challenge and like a grind. But if you're devoted to it, you're still working hard. And there will be times that you're grinding, but you feel like you are just having a current that you're a part of, and you're just riding this current through this devotion, through this power, as you're being disciplined in what you do. Really and so if you truly want to be great, you truly want to be your best, you truly want to be a great team, you got to be devoted to each other and to what you're accomplishing together. And individually, if you want to be excellent at what you do, there has to be a devotion to it.
It's very good. And the last thing about it I want to go through here just to tie it all together is the fifth commitment in the book is connected to, I think, how you become devoted. I never heard it said this way before. And when you sent me the book, I said, I think this is my favorite part of the book. And now that I've read it twice, I don't know what my favorite part is. There's a lot in it that I really like. You know why I say I wasn't that great of a leader? I don't think I was that good at this. Yet as a friend, I'm great at it. Like as I got older, I'm very connected to my friends. But so the commitment, by the way, everybody, is the commitment to connect. Just think about all the things in your business or your family. You just kind of do stuff, but are you committed to connecting on a deeper level in your marriage, with your children, with your team, with your business? Like, are you? And then like, if you are, like, what are you doing about it? What's your plan? What's your strategy, right? So the commitment to connect.
Yeah. As a team, the more connected you are, the more committed you'll be, because you'll never have commitment without connection. And so when there's a connection, there's trust, and there's a bond, there's a relationship, there's love, there's a feeling of oneness, which we talked about previously in our other podcast. So when you have that oneness and connection, you now have power as a team. And too often we're not connected. We're going through life disconnected families, broken relationships, broken marriages. So many teams out there are disengaged and disconnected, and they're in despair. And that's why they're actually suffering and not performing well. So it's simple. I mean, we just have to make the time intentionally to connect. And what I love about this book is I actually gave some really good exercises in the book that you follow this team learning how to connect together. And as they do, you see the impact of that connection. You see the personalities come out as well, which There will always be personalities come out, but as the connection happens, you watch this team become stronger, more united, and more powerful together. And that will be the same thing if you take the time to intentionally connect. As a leader, let's make it practical. As a leader, connect with one person that you lead on your team every day in a meaningful way. Just pick one person every day and connect with them. 5-10 minute conversation. How you doing? Not about business. How you doing? What are you working on? You know, you're struggling with this. How can I help? And have a nice conversation with that team member and connect with them. Foster connection amongst your team. See, great leaders don't just connect individually and collectively. They also get their teams to connect. And that's why I wrote this book. It's for a leader to get their team more connected. So as a leader, what are you doing on a daily basis to foster the connection amongst your team members? And so for us during COVID, for instance, we got together once a week and we did team building exercises. We were intentional about it. You can't just allow it to happen. You will drift towards your culture. You won't create your culture unless you actually do it and connect and make it purposeful and intentional. So every week do a team building exercises. And in the book, I wrote about the 5 H's, which is my favorite, which is who's your hero? What's a hardship you faced that made you who you are today? What's a highlight that you are proud of? What's hilarious? Make it fun. Yeah. And then what do you hope for? As each person goes around and shares their 5 H's, I guarantee every team that does this at any level will become a stronger, more united, connected team. What happens is vulnerability paves the way for this connection. The walls of pride and ego come crumbling down, and now you get to know each other, and now you want to fight for each other.
Really good, Jon, the 5 H's to connect. Thank you for doing this today.
I love them. Thanks for having me, brother.
This was really good.
It's fun.
Really good. Every time. Isn't it easy when you have a good friend on? It's a cakewalk, everyone. You're welcome, by the way, because this was good, everybody. If it's good enough for the Washington Redskins, the Clemson Tigers, the Colorado Rockies, you name it, the Los Angeles Rams, it's probably good enough for you, right? Go get the 7 Commitments of a Great Team by the great Jon Gordon. I highly recommend you do that today. God bless you, everybody. Max out.